Welcome to the Oddity Shop, where the bizarre is always on sale.
Hey, welcome in, you oddballs. I'm Kara, and this is Zach. This is the Oddity Shop, where we
tell you creepy, odd, weird, strange, paranormal, haunted, cryptid stories, and so much more from around the world. How the heck are you today?
I'm good. I would say tomorrow's Thanksgiving, but it's not. But it's the day before Thanksgiving, and so it's just wild.
For us,
Yeah, for us.
Tomorrow is Thanksgiving Eve. For y'all, you're halfway between Christmas and New Year's, that point of the month? Point of the year? I guess month works. Where you have no idea what day of the week it is, what the date is.
I don't know what that is now.
Well, you live in a constant state of that.
I do. So I looked up if we could share Audible books.
Mm-hmm.
We can't unless we have, the same household account. But, we could just have the same household account.
Let's make a household, baby. I feel like I should be on one knee when I say that to you. Hey,
yeah.
Let's make this a household.
But I finished that one book, and then I also finished another book. So I finished my 2 credits for the month, and I'm like, dang.
Wow.
Yeah, because
What was the other book?
Okay, it is so... Whew. Okay, so Elena Urquhart, that is the co-host of Morbid.
Yeah.
She wrote a book. I think she's on her second one. And I knew it was going to be good because she's incredibly smart, and she is a... she works in the morgue.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's like a morgue technician or something. She's crazy. She's cool. Anyway, so I knew it was going to be good, but I was not prepared. It was fucked
up. Is it stories from work?
No. She wrote a damn novel. It's called The Butcher and the Wren. So disturbing, so good. I really, really liked it. Her writing is fucked up.
So it's fiction.
Yeah.
Then. Gotcha.
So it was really good.
Cool.
Though. But there were parts where I was like, ooh. But I did your recommendation, where I sped up the,
Oh, doesn't it help?
Yeah, because I don't know the person that was reading it, and it's not like it was her, so it's not like it made it weird, because I don't know what their voice sounds like anymore.
I also think that they purposely, the people who do the voiceover work for that, purposely read it slower for people who
and then you can speed it up, it doesn't sound too bad.
I usually am at the 1.3 to 1.5, and I find that works perfectly.
I think I did do 1.5, I think. But anyway, so it was supposed to...
It depends on who's reading it,
Well,
too.
yeah, I think it said it was supposed to be a 6-hour thing, and I finished it in I drive 2 hours a day.
Speaking of finishing things...
What'd you do?
We're 2 days from Thanksgiving. I am...
Christmas shopped?
Other than odds and ends, right, that I have to go to a store and get, I am 100% done with Christmas shopping, and I am so thrilled.
I'm not 100%, but I'm about 95%, and I'm also what the hell? Because I'm always...
It feels so nice.
I'm always ahead of you, but I've never been before Thanksgiving.
It's insane to me. You know what else I got ahead on this year? I actually... You're going to judge me, especially Aaron, your husband, will judge me. I actually raked the lawn this fall. Usually I leave it all winter and then just take care of it in the spring. But I convinced Nick and Julia to help me on Sunday.
Did you get them drunk?
No.
Wow.
I don't even think I really had to buy them food.
I can just see them having mimosas or champagne while they're raking in the yard. I can totally picture that.
Okay, so that we did the yard on Sunday, and this was after. So Saturday we went to Amelia's birthday party, the first birthday. And then...
Oh, shit. I forgot. Oh, my God. I totally forgot.
Yeah, so we did that. And then me, Julia, and Nick went out. So that ended about 3. And we decided to go out for we kind of went to a couple different bars, had a few different drinks, had a few different snacks at each one.
Yeah, because I talked to you guys when you were in bed at
Yeah. What, 9:30
or something? Yeah.
Yeah. It was amazing. We got home. We had a couple of glasses of water, chilled for a minute. We all got in bed by 9 o'clock, and then we're ready to go for yard work on Sunday.
That's so cute. What'd you end up getting the little one?
Okay, so Nick got her shirt and pant combo thing that were Disney related. We got a Disney anniversary kids toy, and then
cute. And you got her wine, right? You got her something.
Marina. No, we didn't get her wine. However, we had gone to this little kind of flea market. You've been there, I'm sure. The Rust Belt over in Ferndale.
Talking about the baby. We did not give the baby wine.
No, we didn't give the baby. I was thinking about doing that for Mom. But have you ever been to the Rust Belt?
I don't think so. Unless you took me there.
It's sort of like a little flea market in Ferndale. And there was this lady who did inappropriate cross-stitching.
Yes. That's awesome.
So we got little baby Peba a hat that just has like terribly cross-stitched in it. Says basic bitch. So we bought that. Nick bought a gift for his sister there that was like a pillow with a funny phrase in it. I'm not going to say it here just in case.
Oh my God.
But as we're like checking out the lady, she goes, well, since you guys are cool.
Were you checking her out or you were checking out?
No, we were like
you said
purchasing.
As we were checking out the lady.
Oh, as we were checking out, the lady who made all the stuff goes, okay, since you guys seem cool, do you want to see like the box of stuff I don't display? And it was all onesies.
Oh no.
And they were onesies like that had cross stitch in it. My mom's a whore. I don't know who my dad is. Like all these. And like the lady who did it looked like a librarian. Like not what you would expect. It was amazing.
That's awesome. Oh shit. I think that's all I had to tell you.
That's all I had for you. Are you ready for a question?
Yeah.
Okay, just to recap, this is episode 2 of our 2-part Mothman deep dive, baby.
Wait, I have a question for you first, though.
Yes.
Am I allowed to talk during this episode?
You could probably talk a little bit more than you did the last one. I know I told you this was going to be short, but after piling so much info in here, it's going to be a little bit long yet, but you can chat.
Okay, thanks.
So, with what you know about the Mothman so far, why was he hanging around Point Pleasant? Was he an omen? Was it just bad timing? Like, why do you think he was there?
Well, you and I have kind of talked about this between you and I, but I kind of think he was like trying to warn people.
And I've thought that for the longest time too. Mm-hmm. My feelings have changed.
No.
Yes.
Wait, so did they revert back to your original feelings about Mothman?
No. Completely new stories I've dug into this, or completely new thoughts for me personally, but I'm going to hold them to the end.
Oh no, I don't know if I want to hear. Tell them I'm leaving. I'm going to leave and go clean because I got to, and you just tell them.
I mean, I told you not to talk basically anyway, so.
What if I did just be like, what if I did just like turn the camera off and leave? I'll just take a screenshot of what I look like right now. You wouldn't even know.
No, honestly, I have half my notes over your face anyway. Let's be for real. All right. Getting into it. Last week, I left us on a bit of a cliffhanger. We had told the whole story of Mothman, but I alluded to the fact that there were some other strange things happening alongside the same 13 months that Mothman was in Point Pleasant. Caveat for everybody, if you have not listened to part 1, part 2 is not going to make any sense to you. Go back 1 week, listen to that one now, or you're going to be lost.
Put it in reverse, Terry.
Put it in reverse. Last week, we started with a geography lesson. Are you ready for a history lesson this week?
I was going to say, please don't give me another geography one, because I lost everything when you went.
It's all good. It's all
History is fine.
Okay. So we were talking about Appalachia. We were talking about specifically the area on the West Virginia-Ohio border, long been plagued by cryptids, ghosts, unusual floods, like strange things happening. And we wouldn't be doing this story justice if we didn't talk about the fact that the land is 100% cursed.
Okay.
Did you know this?
Yeah.
You're going to hear it again. During the 1700s, so 250 years before where we're going in, as Americans were moving west across the country, many of the local nations of Native Americans band together. They form an alliance to keep the white man from infringing on their land.
Wow, imagine that.
Right. Of this alliance, the strongest and then became the leaders of it were the Shawnee Indians, who were led by Chief Cornstalk.
Oh, I like that.
His name, I don't even want to do it justice by trying to pronounce it incorrectly. It's the native word for cornstalk, but the translation is cornstalk. In 1774, the American men and the natives, they clashed along the banks of the Ohio and the Kanawha River, which, if you remember from our geography lesson, is right where Point Pleasant sits.
Can I, I'm so sorry. If I don't get this out of my brain, I can't. All last episode, every time you said Point Pleasant, I just kept thinking of that 70s show, because isn't it Point Place? Point Place, Wisconsin. Yep. And every time you said it, I was like, Kara, just shut up. He can't take it right now. He's got too much to go through. But this time I had to say it or I'm going to drive myself nuts.
I've actually gotten them interchanged.
Okay, because then I kept thinking about that 70s show the whole time you were talking about Mothman.
There was a time we were doing trivia where I answered the question of where did that 70s show take place wrong by saying Point Pleasant, and it still haunts me.
Okay, I had to get it out. Go.
Back to our battle, right where Point Pleasant is, 1774. There are about even numbers of Americans and Native Americans. That just sounds weird. Let's say infiltrating white men and Native Americans. And the natives got their butts handed to them 2-1, mostly because muskets.
I mean, no, I don't even want to get into it. It just pisses me off.
Each side had about 1,200 men. The white men lost about 250, and the natives between 500 and 700.
That's disgusting.
It was bloody. All right. So this battle happened basically exactly where Point Pleasant is up to the TNT area. So Cornstalk decides to take another approach, and he decides to enter into a peace treaty with the white men to fight off the English. So in 1777, the Americans and Cornstalk meet at a fort near Point Pleasant, and it was during this time that Chief Cornstalk and his son are taken hostage instead of going through with the peace treaty.
Do I just know this?
I don't know.
Okay. Or is it unfortunate that this story is so common in our history that I know
it might be one of those kind of like you've heard it other places. Okay. But while in captivity, a couple of the white men at the fort, they've gone out hunting, and they're killed by Native Americans kind of randomly. So to exact revenge, the Americans kill their hostages, including Chief Cornstalk and his son. So they kill his son basically right in front of him. Cornstalk sees him. He is shot 8 times himself, and as he's collapsing to the floor, he says, "May the curse of the Great Spirit rest upon this land. May it be blighted by nature. May it be blighted in its hopes. May the strength of its people be paralyzed by the stain of our blood."
Yeah, I think I know this just from the Appalachia. That's crazy.
Right. He dies very shortly after.
That's so sad.
It's insanely sad, right?
Up.
Like you put your trust in people to try to make peace, and that's what happens.
Like, do you feel fucked up celebrating Thanksgiving?
Kind of.
It's so dumb.
So dumb. Anyways, so since then there's been fires, there's been floods, there's been the worst coal mine disaster in the United States. That was 1907, kills 310 miners.
Ooh.
1944. 150 people in this area were killed by one single tornado. We know about the bridge in 67. And then in 68, an airplane crash in this area kills 35. And 2 years later, another plane killing 75. And that's just like the teeniest handful of all the stuff that goes bad in this area.
Huh, that's crazy.
So, did the Mothman come from just being a cryptid? Did he come from the tragedy that sparked a curse from 100 years ago or hundreds of years ago? Or is there more?
Well, I know that there is more, but keep going.
Okay. Super duper duper quick. Duper duper. Quick recap of last week's episode. Okay. Mothman shows up right in the beginning of November 66. Soon after, the reports come in like crazy throughout November, December, basically through the winter into the spring. He sort of chills out for a little bit. And then he's seen heavy again in November of 67, all the way up until the collapse of the bridge mid-December 1967 when the Silver Bridge falls into the Ohio River.
Right.
So while this is all happening, we talked about Mary Heyer, the local reporter. We talked about John Keel, the famous ufologist. They start to kind of pair up and put the story of the Mothman together.
Right.
The findings from these two basically become the basis of Keel's book that came out later and then was made into the movie, The Mothman Prophecies. Okay. So where I withheld the information is mostly in that like spring to fall of 67. Remember how there's kind of like the lull of Mothman sightings?
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of other shit happening at that time. But before we get to that, we're going right back to November 66. So the same month that Mothman comes to town.
Or when he originally comes.
When he originally comes to town. This is like,
okay.
You remember it was like beginning of November, people start seeing the Mothman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on November 2nd, 1966, Woodrow Derenberger, who also goes by Woody, is driving home to Mineral Wells, West Virginia. It's a name, isn't it?
What is it?
Woodrow
Darrenberger. Ooh, I like
Easy
that.
for you to say.
I would not go by Woody, though.
So he's going home to Mineral Wells. It's not super far from Point Pleasant. He has been on the road for some time. He was a traveling salesman. At 7:30 p.m.
Was he actually a traveling salesman?
Yeah.
I feel like that's code for like CIA.
No, as far as I can tell, he was a salesman.
Okay.
So he's driving home. It's like 7:30 at night, and he seems to see in his rear view a vehicle coming up on him really quickly. And as it's coming up faster and faster, he realizes it's not a car, but it is a metallic cigar-shaped craft. He's keeping an eye on it.
Oh. It
starts to catch up to him, and he can now see that it is not driving. It is, however, hovering a few feet off the ground. Kind of goes up in the air, keeps pace with him, overtakes his car, and then gradually slows, forcing Woody to slow down and come to a stop. This is when he notices this is a UFO, okay?
Yeah.
It's like kind of like a sideways kerosene lamp. It's flared on each end, kind of bottlenecks, then has a big bulge in the center. When it stops in front of him, it seems to be about 12 inches off the ground, so really, really close to the ground. A door opens, and what appears to be a regular human being comes out. He approaches Woody's car.
Oh, this is my boy.
This is your boy. This is my boy. This is the man of
my boy.
Like, if Mothman wasn't my favorite, who we talking about is going to be a close second.
Yeah. We've never talked about it on here either.
We've never talked about him. He looks fairly normal. He has slicked back black hair, a blue top coat, blue pants on, which are like a little bit lighter shade than the coat.
Interesting.
So while Woody describes the clothes as normal, he says they're slightly metallic. He describes the man as being very tall, has a dark tan.
Suave.
But the strange thing is remember, this is November in West Virginia. Where the hell are you like showing up with this like super dark tan like you just came back from vacation?
But why are you in a whatever you just got out of?
None of it adds up, right? But it gets even weirder because as he approaches Woody, the man has a giant grin on his face that never changes throughout the interaction. So it's like a teeth-bared, giant smile grin. And then his arms the entire time stay crossed with his hands like in his armpits. If you imagine like the movie Superstar, why do you stand like that? Like, that's the stance.
It's a very like you're trying to play a human. Like you don't know what to do. Like, right? Yes. You don't know what to do with your hands. So you just put them there, and you don't know what to do with your face. So you just smile because you think that that's supposed to be really welcoming. When in fact, when you don't stop smiling, it's actually kind of fucking terrifying.
Yeah. I'm going to just cut that paragraph out of my notes. But
I'm sorry.
No. It's amazing. No, you did great. So anyways, he comes up to Woody and starts to speak. However, his mouth never moves, and Woody realizes he's getting all the messages telepathically.
I have goosebumps.
So,
love it.
The first one, he is told to roll down his window because we want to talk to you.
Oh, yeah, because he's still in his car. Yeah.
Yes. So Darren he is terrified, right? But he did as he was told because the man... So. Yeah. And you can watch interviews of this. This is wild. But he does as he's told because the man appears friendly, right? So over the next 10 minutes... this being, not being, Kara, being and Woody have a conversation, except this person always refers to himself as we.
We.
So he asks Woody a lot of questions about, like, apparently Earth, right? Woody has to explain to him what a city's called. He goes, oh, we call that a gathering. He goes, we eat, we breathe, we sleep and bleed as you do. Then he says to Woody, you do not have to fear us. Don't be afraid. Which is terrifying.
I was like, my words weren't.
So, this being tells Woody that he is called the Searcher and that they are in the area looking for something.
Oh, my God.
Prior to leaving, he lets Woody know that his name, or their name, since he goes by we, is Cold. Indrid Cold. And shortly after introducing himself, he says, we will see you again. chills. I don't know what it is about Indrid Cold, but this thing gives me chills.
Yeah, and I also, what I was going to say is I actually wanted to do an episode on the Searchers because it's so creepy.
The thing is, and I can't get into it too much here just for time's sake, but there are multiple of the Searchers whose names come up time and time again across different UFO experiences. Keel's had multiple interactions with them. There's something more to that, but we're going to do the condensed version today. So Woody goes home. He tells his wife what happens. She tells him to tell the police, like a good husband. He tells the police. The police bring a reporter.
Would you?
I don't know. I don't know if I would have at this point. I definitely, if I didn't do it during the first experience, I would have later if I were Woody. So the police bring a reporter. The next day he is interviewed, and his story starts to take off at the exact same time that the Mothman starts to take off. Just like with the Mothman, right? Others start to come forward with similar experiences, such as some people being flagged down by a man with a similar description. Others claiming they saw the ship on the same night that Woody did. There's even those that come forward to say that, or to corroborate Woody's story. Because they saw his car, they saw the UFO, and they saw the man that Woody was talking to. Like, others corroborated every part of this story. Because it was only 7:30 at night, and he was on a main road. Then, when John Keel gets to town, he and Mary Hyre, they go out, they interview Woody and his family. And basically, like, throughout the time that they are doing the whole Mothman thing, they meet with Woody multiple times, like, in person and on the phone. This is where it gets so weird. Because like most people, right, they have an alien experience. They get contacted one time, abducted one time, whatever. That's kind of it. They're done. Right.
And then it's mostly just like feelings and mind visions and things like that. Like it's not phone calls and meetups.
So through all the conversations with Woody, John learns that Indrid stays in contact with him, sometimes even coming to their family at home. What you were saying, Woody is he's getting kind of like the electrical disturbances, the weird mind thing. They're getting phone calls that are seemingly to make the same noise. Remember, this is the 60s, that they would if like the line was tapped or if there was interference, all sorts of electrical disturbances. But it's like
so wild.
So many visits from Indrid. Woody learns that there's others like Cole who have been visiting our planet. They claim to be from a planet called Lanulos. Like, this is its own story on such a different tangent.
I'm going to do it because I wanted to,
perfect.
So I'll do it.
I'll keep that part, or what I was going to say next then, so you can hold that for yours. But there's a lot more to Lanulos.
There is a lot.
And Woody may have gone there once or twice. So he kind of thinks he's losing it at one point. Let's be honest. Like, Darren Berger, he's getting a lot of flack from the community. So he goes to a doctor. He goes to a psych referral, all that. He gets checked out. He gets a clean bill of health. Weird, though, is that basically within minutes of him leaving the doctor's, that doctor gets a call from a man who introduces himself as Indrid Cold, wanting to know what the visit with Woody was about.
We have to remember what time we're in, because it's not like we can track a cell phone and find my iPhone's on and you can see that somebody was just at the doctor's. That is insane.
I can't get into it too much, mostly because, one, I don't understand all the tech stuff, but John Keel did a lot to him and Woody's phones and everything else to try to get rid of
like the tapping
or whatever, and it just kept happening, right? So the doctor thing, that's in December of 1966, right? So a year before the bridge. This is when Mothman's still Mothmanning like crazy. And honestly, for years afterwards, Woody and his family have tons of experience with Cold, mostly during the Mothman.
It's his family too.
Yeah. So his wife and his daughter has actually written books on this. For the longest time, they didn't, till they finally did start to see him. Now, Woody's daughter, and this is, I think, like one of those things that gives me like chills in a happy way.
I already have chills.
She has always noted that the last time she ever saw Indrid Cold was at her father's funeral, at Woody's funeral many years later.
Isn't that? I do have full little goosies.
Full. Anytime I talk about Indrid Cold, full body chills.
Okay.
So it's not clear why he reached out and kind of became friendly with Woody. Obviously, he was searching for something. May have been the Mothman, but okay. I said there was weirdness happening, not just one man getting contacted by Indrid from Lanulus.
What a cool name, though. Indrid Cold.
Yeah, it's the coolest name. It is honestly the coolest name. I'm going to name my son that one day.
You fucking hate kids.
I do. That's why I'm not going to have one.
Get a dog. Name your dog.
My proverbial child. Yes. Over the same 13 months that Mothman's there, right? November 66 to December 67. So much UFO activity is happening. With Mothman, remember, everybody started to flock towards the TNT area after the Scarberries and the Mallets had their first encounter.
Yes.
And like all heading out to see the weirdness that was going on in the wildlife preserve. I withheld a bit from you there too, because a lot of people were seeing the Mothman, but even more frequently, they were seeing all sorts of crazy lights moving through the sky and through the TNT area, and like looked like they were coming down and kind of landing back in the nature area. Just strange. So for as many sightings as there were of the Mothman at this time, it seems like there was just as many, if not more, who saw the strange lights or other things that are similar to UFO and alien sightings.
Well, okay, because people do think that he's some sort of like alien-esque creature.
Right.
Is that where you're going?
There's a little bit of that.
I don't know. Okay.
But people weren't only going to the TNT area. There were also plenty of people who were going and basically stalking Woody's house after his story hits the media, who were hoping to get a glimpse of Indrid Cold.
I mean, like, come on. He's like dark-haired, tan, and suave. Like, I want to look at him too.
Right? So whatever's going on in winter of 66, there's so much strange happening in Point Pleasant.
Can you imagine living there? Like, what is happening?
You know, the thing is, though, is like that you have to be asking yourself that, because we've talked about at least 10 other cryptids on this show, right? And so it's like, well, there was a sighting here and a sighting there, and this person saw it by themselves. This is an entire, like, you have Gallipolis, you have Point Pleasant, Athens, and a bunch of other cities around here that are having, like, multiple sightings a day.
Well, and then it's just, like, on top of all these other weird occurrences and instances and just, like, really strange fucking things. Like, I can't imagine what people were thinking. I wonder how many people moved.
Oh, I'm sure some did. But you also have to think, like, they only had the industry that was in Point Pleasant. These are rural areas. It's not like you could just uproot your life and leave easily either.
Oh, I guess you're right. I didn't even really think of that. I mean, obviously, it's not that easy to just move. But I'm just saying, if all this wackadoo shit is going on in my town, I don't know if I'm going to stay.
Well, at least the nice thing that for them is come spring of 67, they got a break, at least from the Mothman. But that's when the UFO shit really ramped up. Okay?
It's like, what would you rather have?
I'm going to say, for sake of theories later, Mothman goes into hiding. And then mid-March, there's orange, green, and white lights around the Marriott Manufacturing, as well as the TNT area. Also in March, so like teens are seeing ships flying around. There's another group that sees something fly past the Silver Bridge. Another group actually claims they saw one of these UFO crafts.
This is all before the bridge collapse, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So the bridge collapsed in December 67.
Yeah, so we're still before that.
Mothman showed up and Indrid in November 66.
Yeah.
November and December 66 were heavy Mothman up through about March of 67. In the spring of 67, Mothman disappears for a long time. I mean, he's still kind of seen, but not nearly the frequency. But there's far more now UFOs at that time. So now people are not only seeing the lights in the sky.
This is insane.
But there's those who are claiming to see like the actual craft, right? So what I was starting to say, though, is there's one group who basically see one of the crafts go into the water near the Silver Bridge and stay there. They kept an eye on it for hours until at night it came back out in the water.
Oh, interesting.
So it's almost like they're hiding.
Oh, cool.
So remember, John Keel originally is a ufologist. He's not like a big cryptid guy, right? So he is like, he is over the moon in all of this. All right. So I think maybe he came out for Indrid Cold and actually just kind of fell into the Mothman.
That actually makes way more sense.
So we've got aliens, or at least we have ships in the sky, UFOs. I'm going to say UFOs because we don't know if they're aliens. We've got Indrid. We have all the disturbances. We obviously have everything going on with Mothman. Who are we missing?
What did you just say? Indrid?
Indrid,
Mothman.
UFOs, Mothman, We have electrical and technology disturbances and like those weird medical things.
Give me some paranormal.
I don't have much paranormal for you.
Give me a murder. What are we missing?
It's strange, it's odd, and comes along with UFOs.
Why am I drawing a blank? I don't know what we're missing. I'm gonna feel really stupid, aren't I?
You are, because here comes the man in black.
Oh, shit.
Okay. We all know Will Smith in the movie and the song, right? In the movie is the Men in Black secret government organization. They hunt down, track down UFOs, wipe the memory of people who come into contact with them to ensure that nobody has memories of the aliens.
We'll do a whole episode on the Men in Black and the Woman in Black because it's terrifying, but it's not like, it ain't no Will Smith.
No,
I would take that Men in Black.
Yeah, that Men in Black would be a welcome sight.
The real?
So,
wait, who plays Tom? What's his name? Tom, whatever. He's hot. Continue on. It'll come to us.
God, what is his last name?
Is it Tom?
Yeah, hold on. Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. What's his character? Z, J, T. What's it? Fuck.
K.
K. God, it's me.
Agent K. Obviously, the movie, though, while they made it all humans, it is based on a phenomena that is widely observed. Very, very well documented that many times during series of huge UFO reports come these strange men who seem to be looking for anyone and anything, talking about their experiences, reporting on them, or writing them down. And 66, 67, Point Pleasant, there's a lot of people reporting shit.
Yeah, and people actually thought that Indrid Cold was a Men in Black for a while.
They did, yeah. There's probably still people who hold on to that today because he has some similarities.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so no one really knows who the Men in Black are. Some do think it's a special government task force. Task, not task.
I was going to say task force. That's insane.
Who gets sent out for people talking about sightings. Others think they are UFOs themselves.
They're the UFO?
Right. So they're like another kind of UFO who are trying to like kind of clean up the trail. Others kind of think they're multidimensional or somewhere along like the spirits or the observers who seem to almost like not be the cops of the universe or the physical, but it's like kind of like the keepers more. I feel like searcher or observer is like that. Yeah, they're somehow outside of everything we experience, right? And they keep things from being too chaotic.
Stop asking questions.
Right.
You ask too many questions and the Men in Black are going to come to your door.
Well, basically, I mean, so in this area, that's exactly what starts to happen. Anybody talking about Indrid Cold, anybody talking about the UFO sightings, the Mothman, especially those with multiple experiences or had gone to the press, start to get visits from the Men in Black. Here's what they're described. Now, this is crazy, too. You can Google and see, like, not even in the Mothman situation per se, but the Men in Black, right? They're caught on security cameras. They're physical evidence of these guys.
Yeah.
They're always wearing kind of like ill-fitting black suits. Very, very nice suits. But a lot of people noted, even in 66 and 67, that they were out of style for the time.
Yeah.
They all drive black cars, usually a Cadillac, sometimes a Volkswagen. They're all super tinted, all blacked out. You know, and it's like the very typical, like, black suit, black tie, white shirt, you know.
Men in Black, just, yeah.
Then their looks, right? Some say they look almost like Eastern European. Others say they're kind of like Oriental in nature. They speak English, but in strange accents, and their voices are almost way too high-pitched.
Yeah.
They have a knack for knowing things about the people they visited that's just way too much more than what was ever mentioned.
And I feel like they're very, like, cocky. Like, they just don't give a shit.
They're cocky, and, like, they're just kind of weird, right? So they don't really blink. They just stare. Their skin is like a yellow, almost like a jaundice color, but also translucent enough that you can see their veins.
Yeah, it's like, it's just, there's something, like, if you were to just maybe pass them in the street, you'd be like, okay, that's a person, but then you'd probably think about it like, there's something really weird about that person.
Did you ever see Mars Attacks?
No.
I always think about, so the aliens start to, I think they're trying to either seduce the president or Jack Nicholson's other character, because Jack Nicholson plays two characters in that movie for whatever reason. But they dress up as like a woman, but it's like a very obviously like it's the essence of a woman, like a hot chick, but like not really nailing it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So they start to visit people. And Mary Hire is one of the first. And they ask all about the Mothman. They ask about Indrid. And they left her feeling very unsettled because they warned her that she should probably not be writing about it.
And they don't ever really answer who they are.
No. They don't answer anything about themselves. So she tells Keel about this, obviously. And here's the other cool thing, too, is during all of this, right? So Keel was kind of in and out of West Virginia. So him and Mary corresponded a lot by letters, and you can go through and read the letters of like what she was reporting to him. And
oh my God, that's terrifying. So cool and creepy.
But she mentions the never blinking their eyes, the fact that they're very threatening, and that they tell her she needs to stop reporting. They also visit the Scarberries, the Mallets, Connie Carpenter. Connie would remember is the niece of Mary Hire who got conjunctivitis by looking at Mothman.
Oh, yeah.
And they all seem to say the same thing, right? The staring, the voices, the cars, the skin. They also said, like, I think it was Connie or Linda Scarberry who said, like, they don't seem to really know how to, like, use their hands or their bodies that well.
Okay, it actually reminds me in the movie The Men in Black, you know, when the alien takes over. Oh my God, what's the one guy's
Sugar Water. That guy?
Yeah, what the fuck's his name?
Oh,
but and it's remember. Just like so, and he doesn't know how to move, and it's like
it's exactly that. But all of them said the same thing. They were threatened to stop telling their story and stop talking about the Mothman or UFOs and everything else. When the threats aren't enough to shut people up, however...
Like, what would you do? I don't know.
Well, then they start getting harassed. So now Keel and the others, their cars are being followed by the blacked out Cadillacs. They'll even go through like really public areas like a drive-through, and they'll be followed through that. So Keel tries to actually chase them back and confront them many times throughout the summer of 1967. He would get their license info, look up the plate, and regularly they would come up with non-existent plates, like they didn't actually exist.
Oh, yeah. That's so great.
They don't really like that John is now following them. They start to fight back a little bit. So he starts getting calls at all hours. His electronics stop working. His mail is being rifled through. At times, like he'll be driving around or places with like other contactees. Or you know, I guess you can't even call them all contactees, right? People who have experienced all this fucked up shit. And the Men in Black would kind of like pop out and take pictures of them. So, and like every time they're always like very serious about stop doing this. They always make like threats, not like we'll do anything if you don't stop, but bad things will happen if you don't stop reporting.
Yeah. It's not funny because it's fucking terrifying. But I'm just trying to think in my head what I would do.
I have no idea.
Because I actually don't know what I would do.
So we're going to go back to Mr. Derenberger.
Okay.
2 hunters are basically hiding in his property to get a chance to see Indrid cold.
Oh, no.
And they think they're going to luck out when a blacked out Cadillac pulls into Woody's drive.
Yikes.
And a peculiar man dressed in all black suit, tan skin, comes out. And these hunters are pumped. They're like excited to like go knock on Woodrow's door, talk to him about his, you know, Indrid. They get very disappointed. They wait quite a while. They're waiting to see something or hoping to see something kind of terrifying. But then this man gets back in the car, leaves. The hunters tried to stop him. They confront Woody, who had never heard of the Men in Black before this visit. And he was just shaken to the core, like just freaked out.
I am starting to have my brain work.
So, by the way, the hunters...
You're like, yeah, I'm just going to ignore you.
You're putting it together. Well, because I think you're starting to come to my conclusion.
Let me know when I can guess.
A few more minutes.
Okay.
But the hunters, right, that whole thing actually happens right before Woody goes and sees the doctor. And a lot of people think it's actually the Men in Black that pushed him over the edge, make him think he was really losing it.
Yeah, because he was friends with Indrid. So I don't know why he would think he was losing it for that.
I mean, I think he thought he was losing it for all of it combined. But then when this guy shows up threatening him.
I guess, yeah.
So high strange and UFO flaps, right? So we've kind of mentioned UFO flaps before a little bit in that UFO over Zimbabwe. That's what this whole section's for.
Thank you, because I don't think I'll ever understand it. Like, it's not even hard, and I don't know why I can't remember it. Go.
Between November 1966 and December 1967, right, there's so much going on. And this is probably one of the most, like, relevant UFO flaps. Or, not relevant, but pronounced, right? So Mothman's there. He goes into hiding. He comes back right before the bridge collapses. People are seeing UFOs almost nightly, lights in the skies. Others are even, there's claims of abduction. I mean, there's so much of the UFO stuff that I don't even have time to get into.
It's just wild.
The Men in Black show up. They're harassing people who go public with their stories, right? They're really keen on Mothman. They're really, really interested in getting like John Keel and Mary Hyre, the people reporting on this, to shut up. So remember, originally John came to town because he wanted to give an explanation for the Mothman, and his best guess is with a term that he actually coins, and he coins the flap. So a UFO flap is when a particular geographic area over the course of an extended period of time experiences high levels of UFO, or what he calls high strange activity. And what he means by the high strangeness is these beings like the Indrid Cove, the other searchers, their names come up. I'm sure you'll get into it when you do your episode, but people think they're either angels or searchers or observers of the universe, right? But wherever they seem to be, the Men in Black and UFO and cryptid, like these things all happen hand in hand. They happen for like a almost set amount of time, right? Because after the bridge collapse, all of this dies down after December 67. Like the UFOs stop, the Mothman sightings stop, the Indrid Cove, other than for Woody, it stops.
Yeah.
So there was obviously a UFO flap happening at this time. And I know Keel came up with UFO flap. It's unidentified flying objects, but I just think a high strange flap is the better description of it.
I feel like Greg and Dana used that a lot, like the high strangeness.
Yeah, they use it a lot. A lot of people in the field do, right? Because I think as we've gotten further along,
it makes sense. It's just like a general area of just strange
weirdness, right? Like we can't say it's aliens or UFOs because we don't
everything.
know if it's from off the planet, right? And I mean, even look at the research, and I'm sure we'll get into it later too, with Bigfoot being multidimensional and attached with UFOs now. It almost seems to be like it's something else we just haven't quite figured out. So during the flap too, remember there's all the electronic things, the phones, the strange beeps and hums across all sorts of electronics. There's even like Mary Hyre, John Keel, and others are pretty sure their houses were gone through either by Men in Black or something else.
Yeah.
All of it. We don't have a concrete explanation for everything that happened. We never will. But what we do know is that shortly after December, after the fall of the Silver Bridge, everything just kind of fades away. But what I was talking about earlier, like these people's worlds were rocked for 13 months, right? We've talked about the Fresno Nightcrawlers who have a huge cult following, and they've been seen 3 times.
Right.
The Dogman, couple times a year, right? I mean, look at like the Betty and Barney Hill story, or even the UFO over Zimbabwe story that we've done. The UFO over Zimbabwe probably was more flap-like than some of the others, but it's like, okay, here's this one big experience.
Yeah.
Maybe some other things that happen around the periphery around it, and then it's done.
Yeah, just like one and done, yeah.
But for whatever fucking reason, this time like is just insane. So, are you ready for my theory?
Wait, can I just rattle off my thoughts?
Yeah, I want to see if we're at the same conclusion now.
Okay, here's the thing. I know a decent amount about each of these topics, so I don't know a lot.
Well, I mean, I gabbed at you these stories for years, so...
No, but you know what I'm saying. Like, once even you dig into them, you learn, like, you just said you have a new theory about Mothman. So it's just like, whatever. So, okay. I don't know, but when you were just, like, rattling off all this to me, I'm like, okay, so I definitely think that the Men in Black they're like a control. They're supposed to kind of just control, monitor, don't ask too many questions. For whatever reason, that's just like what they do. You said that they're not really police, but I kind of think that they are. I don't know for where or what or why, but I think they kind of are, like they're that control, like keep everything the way it is. Like whether it's you keep this universe this way, this way, don't switch realms and universe, whatever. I don't know. That's what I think. Indrid is a searcher, as he calls himself. So it's like, is he supposed to be searching for, maybe whatever, is supposed to search for the things that aren't supposed to be. Like maybe he's trying to look out. So like he's like, hey, Mothman, my boy, you ain't supposed to be here. Let me get here and kind of protect you, and like let's get you back to where you need to go because these Men in Black bitches are gonna come. Maybe Indrid was a Men in Black and he's like a fucking rebel and he's like, fuck you bitches, I'm gonna go out on my own. I don't know, but that's kind of where my brain is going. Like he's be searching around for things that maybe shouldn't be on planet Earth, and like let's hide a little bit better, be a little bit more discreet. I think he's like a rebel. I think he broke away from the Men in Black.
I have very similar thoughts.
Okay.
Did you ever watch the TV show Fringe?
No, what is that?
Oh my god, it's so good.
I've never even heard of that. I don't think.
sort of Rick and Morty, but way more serious, but with like real live actors, but also mixed with like NCIS. So it's a guy whose grandpa is like this super, super great scientist.
Okay.
And they meet with Olivia, and I want to say like Olivia works for something Men in Black-ish, like it's like a part of the government that's whatever, like into fringe science, right? So really, really good show, ties in a lot of supernatural, paranormal shit. But one of the things that as they start to like kind of figure out almost like a time machine or a dimension machine, they start to get visited and see the observers, who are the observers of the universe, which are definitely taken from the Men in Black.
Okay.
So my thought process is, right, is that there's almost like, if these are the observers of the universe, there's maybe a couple different classifications. You have the watchers or the searchers, who are there just to kind of make sure everything stays as it should be.
Correct. Okay.
Then you have the Men in Black, who are like your cleanup crew.
Okay.
And then you have the reason for the cleanup crew, right? So it's almost like Mothman is like the escaped prisoner, or the not refugee.
I was going to say refugee, but that's not it either.
What's the person who's running? They use it for people who escape from prison.
Oh shit!
Flagrant, not flagrant.
No, why are we dumb right now? Hold on. Here come the Men in Black.
Not escapee, a fugitive.
Fugitive.
There we go.
Refugee.
Right. So I almost think like Mothman is almost like this interdimensional fugitive. I don't think he came from a different planet, but I also don't think like some of these other cryptids, like the Nain Rouge or whatever, like they're from our planet originally.
But do you think though he's bad?
I don't think that he is necessarily bad.
He just is like maybe causing
so like where Indrid was
know.
saying he's from Lanulos, right? Like maybe those kind of creatures are normal in Lanulos, because Mothman didn't ever seem terrified of people.
No, and he didn't go out of his way really to hurt.
But if there's also then a group who are supposed to keep our known dimensions and known realities, right, from devolving into chaos, they're like, well, this thing who's supposed to stay over here somehow slipped into Earth and is now causing a bunch of chaos over here. We got to go in and get this thing out. So I think that's why, like, as the UFOs picked up, we see Mothman die down. And then it's almost like as this tragedy happens and people are distracted by the bridge, it almost is like the Men in Black or the Indrid Colds or whatever caught up to the Mothman. I will say, though, Mothman has been seen since, and actually pretty recently, in the last 10 years or so, in the Midwest and close to Michigan, all around Lake Michigan. So maybe I'll be lucky enough to see him one day.
Listen, I just don't think he's bad. I really don't. And I know you've changed your mind.
I don't think he's bad.
No, you used to.
I don't think he's bad, but I don't think that he was just here to be an omen of disaster for a bridge in which only 70, or not even 70, like 30 some people died.
I guess you're right. I think that he was just trying to, I think he had a hard life. He was just trying to get out and explore and see what the fuck
Boy was just trying to like see something new, meet some new friends.
We don't know if he's actually a boy. We just named him Mothman. We don't know how he identified it.
Moth person.
Moth person. Moth person.
Anyways, though, I mean, we've gone on for almost 2 hours now across 2 episodes. If you want more, there's so much more. Read the Mothman Prophecies. Seriously, it's like, and John Keel is such a disjointed writer, but he does pull in some of like the high strangeness and other things and does a way better job of explaining it to me. But also, if you want to learn more, you can head over to Point Pleasant and go to the Mothman Museum.
And you've been there. Or did you go to the museum?
Yeah, so I've been to the museum. I've actually been to Point Pleasant. The whole fucking town feels super, super strange.
That's what you said.
I don't know if it's Chief Cornstalk. I don't know what it is, but when you're there, it feels fucking weird. And I will say this, because I'm not the only one who thought this. I actually had posted stuff on my story when I was there, and one of my friends who isn't into Mothman texted me and said how she got lost one night coming home from West Virginia. Went through Point Pleasant, realized she was there, kept driving, went through Point Pleasant again, and then had to get a hotel there because she was falling asleep.
I remember you telling me that.
Still so weird. There's also a giant metal statue of him with like whoever was commissioned to make this statue gave him the biggest badonk ever. Glorious ass.
That's what people say. He'd be like muscular and sexy.
We'll share some pictures. I have pictures of me grabbing that ass. I have pictures of the bridge. I got all of them.
Yep.
But if all of that's not enough for you, every third weekend in September, 10,000 people come into Point Pleasant for the Mothman Festival, which we need to go to.
Wow. Okay, let's go.
Right? So they have like all sorts of people come around, talk about Mothman, UFOs, high strange. There's vendors, bands, events, speakers. A lot of times the daughter of Woody will be there.
We're going.
And also like other family members related to things that happened. So, I mean, that's it, right? We've talked about the Mothman. He could be an owl, a sandhill crane, an animal that ate toxic waste, a UFO, cryptid, multidimensional being, or so much more. Like I said, I don't think we'll ever know what it is, but I think the searchers like Indrid and the Men in Black were all in pursuit and trying to capture this thing to make our lives go back to normal.
Yeah.
And that's why I think last he's not an omen of bad things to happen. And I think the bridge is almost coincidental or was distracting enough to the city that all these other beings that were there trying to get things back to normal were able to do their job. So I no longer think Mothman's the omen.
Yeah, I always thought that he was trying to like maybe warn people about the disaster coming, but maybe not. Maybe it's just with everything going on, there was just like blurps and he got through, and then just with all the wackadoo shit going on, that bridge just fucking collapsed. I don't know.
Maybe all these UFOs buzzing past it in and out of the river. Yeah, and I think too, if he was an omen, he would have done it from more than one event.
Well, right. Yeah, so I think Indrid either broke away from the Men in Black or is just against the Men in Black, right? And so he's trying to maybe protect all of these other, what did I say that? All of these other things and creatures and whatever. He's trying to protect them from the Men in Black, right? Maybe they're just going to capture and who knows what, right?
Right.
I think he's trying to be like, yo, bro, let's get the fuck out of here. We gotta go. And
we gotta go back to Lanulos.
We gotta go. Which, I don't know. That's cute.
I've been waiting forever to do this story. I'm sure you guys could tell I've been way more excited on this than most. I mean, I basically told Kara that she can't talk.
No, I wasn't allowed to talk. Ooh, I'm yawning. I wasn't allowed to talk last episode at all.
No.
It's fine.
This one went on longer, so maybe I should have said the same thing this time because I have been talking way too fucking much. But
I didn't talk that much.
That's the story of my favorite cryptid on this planet or off this planet. No, you really didn't. That's what I'm saying. I'm the one who talked too much. But yeah, that's the story of Mothman and all the other weird, high, strange shit happening at the same time.
Well, good job, dude. All right. Well, we've been here for a while. I didn't even realize. So let's let these people go, as you would say.
Get out of here.
What's your favorite cryptid? What's your favorite high strangeness occurrence? What's your favorite thing? Just tell, what's your favorite color? I don't give a shit. Tell me.
Tell us what your favorite thing is. We'll make a story.
All right. Well, with that being said, like, subscribe, comment, talk to us, leave a review. We love you. We appreciate you. But most importantly, creep it real, y'all balls.
Goodbye.
Bye.